I'm on an electric tricycle in downtown Havana, and as you can see behind me, the streets are almost dead. There's hardly any vehicles, public transport has almost been completely cut, and so electric scooters and electric tricycles like this have fast become one of the only ways to travel around in Cuba. And that's because the Trump administration right now is imposing what amounts to an oil blockade on the island of Cuba. At the beginning of January, US Special Forces abducted Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Since then, not a drop of Venezuelan crude has touched these island shores. That left Mexico, one of the last, in fact, the last major oil supplier to Cuba. But Mexico buckled in late January after the Trump administration threatened tariffs on any country delivering Cuba fuel. On Friday morning, Cuban President Miguel Díaz-Canel addressed the nation about the island's critical fuel situation.
The blame lies with the energy blockade that has been imposed on us. How many countries are there which could survive an energy blockade for 3 months and manage to maintain the levels of electricity generation that we have maintained?
On Thursday, the Cuban government put an end to weeks of speculation about whether or not there are negotiations between the Cuban government and the Trump administration. It recognized that talks between the two governments are indeed underway. And there was also a prisoner release. 51 prisoners are soon to be released, the Cuban government says, and they say that that prisoner release was done in consultation with the Vatican. Now, the Catholic Church's role here is intriguing, because 12 years ago, when the diplomatic relations between the US and Cuba were re-established during the Obama administration and the Raul Castro administration. During that time, the Catholic Church was at the heart of it. They were playing a role of guarantor of those negotiations. So, what do we know? That negotiations are underway. What do we not know? What they're talking about, and whether or not an agreement, a deal, so to speak, might be struck. Augustin, Havana, Al Jazeera.